Welcome everybody to the seasonal diet, eating what our ancestors ate when they ate it, like we were evolved to do. So we have touched on this before, but continuing our videos on taking back our testosterone like our ancestors had. Last video we spoke about ancient humans and modern people living in their ancestral ways and what their testosterone levels were like. Today we are looking at the places in the world with the highest testosterone in modern times. And we can learn from their diets and lifestyle, and the results are definitely going to surprise you. So you should all check out this website here. It's got amazing information and everything is sourced by academic peer-reviewed studies. Here we see a map of the average testosterone of each country in the various studies that have been done. Okay, some of these are surprising. There are definitely some outliers though, where we will explain in a minute, but most of this is pretty expected. Western cultures, with all the poison that is forced into our bodies and minds, tend to have lower average testosterone levels. Next, here is a list of countries that we have data on from highest to lowest average testosterone. And to me, this perfectly sums up the diet and lifestyle that are indicators of high testosterone. It's not necessarily the countries that are living most aligned with their ancestral ways. If that were the case, we would see tribes and third world countries at the top of the list. No, what we see at the top of the list are countries that have enough development and technology to make sure people aren't starving, and they also have decent nutrition. But they are not too overdeveloped like first world countries that have all the chemicals and pollutants and new age agendas that feminize the men, as is done here in the West. The prime country development index for optimum testosterone production seems to be right at that sweet spot in between civilization and ancient tribal life, as I examined in the last video. Like I said, there are some outliers that you can see here, definitely, like the Netherlands, Denmark, Belgium, Russia, who are close to the top of the list in these studies at least, but overall the results are as expected. Here's the very interesting part though. There are certain regions of countries that are massive outliers. Take a look at this map and you will see what I am talking about. We start to see some pretty big regional differences within relatively small countries and areas. Look at Southeast Asia, for example, or randomly you see there the Pacific Northwest in the US. This shows that testosterone is not all attributed to genetics, diet, or lifestyle. People of certain regions share essentially the exact same genetics, diet, and lifestyle, but they can be a couple hundred points different in average testosterone measured among these populations. The really interesting thing is when we look at maps like this, zooming in on some of the smaller regions, Russia here, which on average is in the mid-upper range of world testosterone level ranking. But here are certain small regions of the country that have levels through the roof. Regions like Yakutsk, Kurgan, Khabarovsk, Chita, they have testosterone levels 2, 3, even 400 higher than neighboring areas. Same kind of thing we see here. These are areas they're not living out in tents like tribal Siberians, for example, but it's not a big developed city like Moscow or St. Petersburg. It's a region that is developed in that perfect middle ground that we need. And here are some fascinating things going on in these regions that I am definitely going to have to make another video on, not time in this one. But I'll give you one more. Pakistan, which is on average on the low side of global testosterone levels, but one region around Peshawar and Rawalpindi are 300 to 400 higher than the major city of Lahore, just a few hours drive away. Again, it's not the biggest cities in the country, but they're not living in tribal mountain villages either. They're right in that sweet middle zone for optimum testosterone. So again, there is something going on in these places, and to make them that much higher on testosterone than their neighbors, and it's not primarily due to diet, lifestyle, and genetics. since those things are essentially identical among the peoples measured. So there is a lot more information there to unpack, and something else in the next video which I will go over what some of those are.